you're the proud owner of an EV like a Tesla, you may not want to watch this video. I'm going to talk about the connection between falling fertility rates and EVs, and how I believe there is a connection. And if you look at it in a very hard way, it's about sterility. Now, EVs came out in the early 1900s, 1905. They're very popular cars. So the question is, why didn't cars stay electric? So if they're electric cars 120 years ago, why didn't they stay electric? And the reason they didn't stay electric is very simple. Vehicles that run on electricity cannot mine, transport, run machinery. They can't, in a sense, replicate themselves. So why would you put your energy into a machine that can't replicate itself with that energy? Now, that's different for diesel-powered and gas-powered vehicles. They can take another machinery, they can take that energy, they can mine more oil, they can create more steel using that energy, and they can replicate themselves in a sense. So fossil fuel burning machinery replicates itself. Electric run machinery does not. And we're not going to look at, we're going to talk about the fuel. So in the 1750s, whaling was big. And, a man could go out and spear a whale and boil the blubber and take the oil, and everybody could read Moby Dick at night. And then in 1851, when Moby Dick was published, people found oil. And so they just put a hole in the ground and oil bubbled up, like in the old movies. And they could take this oil and they could build cars with it and run cars. And they could take your car in 1956 and go see the movie Moby Dick with Gregory Peck. And then around that time, a geologist, Hubbard, I forget his first name, basically predicted that we'd have peak oil in 1970. And we have had peak oil in the U.S. as far as oil is very easy to get out of the ground. But fracking has extended that because it just pushes through huge amounts of water and sand, breaks up the oil that's sort of in these little crevices and brings it up. And it's very intensive, an energy-intensive process. So when oil was first discovered, let's say in the 1850s, and became much bigger in 1900, it would take 1 barrel of oil essentially to bring up another 100 barrels of oil. So the amount you have to put in to get the oil is very, very inexpensive. But now it's probably like 5 barrels of oil. And then for fracking, they think it could be up to 20 barrels of oil that you would need to bring up 80 in a sense. So it's taking more and more energy to bring up this oil. And of course, we're running out of oil. And well, let's even say we're not running out of oil. We're running out of the easy oil. And oil gets more and more expensive to bring up. And because of that, a lot of people talk about the economy, like, oh, houses are too expensive, this and that, cars. Money is a direct connection to energy. Energy is money, and money is energy in our modern world. So when there's less energy to go around, obviously the wealthy or the people that own the oil wells or whatever, they'll hoard this energy. And the way they're hoarding it is they're saying, okay, I don't know what's going to happen with energy, but I'm going to put solar on my panel. It's very windy. I hope it's not too bad. I put solar on my panels, and I'm going to make these batteries, and I'm going to have this power in my car to go wherever I want. I'm always going to have electricity, and I don't really care whether the electricity is produced with gas 100 miles away, or oil, or coal, or wind turbines, or solar. I don't care. So they don't look at it. So nobody's really noticing that that the energy that's being added is not replacing oil, that you still need the same amount of fossil fuels to build the EVs. In fact, you need more fossil fuels to build an EV than a normal gas car. You need the fossil fuels to build them, to transport them, to mine the copper, right? I mean, all this stuff. So in a sense, what people are realizing is that they're not taking that energy, like there's not going to be more energy, so they're not having families. They're just saying, oh, well, it's just, my life is for me now. I can't afford to have a family. So, especially young people, I'm going to go get a nice car, I'm going to go get a nice Tesla, and I'm going to feel like good about myself because I can't afford a house, which is really saying you can't afford the energy in the house. And so that's like your last stand, and it's the last stand to society that's going sterile. So it's to me, there is a connection between lower fertility rates, huge income inequality, and climate change are all combining into the people that can afford it, that have access to that energy, they're getting EVs because and like I said, they don't see how the energy is being produced. If you say to them, you say, oh, it takes a ton of energy to create your EV, more than a gas, and you have a battery that you won't really be able to recycle. They always say, oh well, in the future it'll be better. In the future we'll have technologies to recycle the battery. In the future we will have more energy. But really think about it, like whether they believe that or not, it's just not true today. It's just absolutely not true today. If renewable energies were replacing fossil fuels, you would see electric trains, industrial trains, pulling grain and whatever. You'd see electric trucks on the highways. You'd see electric factories. You'd see electric, big machinery. But even small machinery in this park, I mean, there are tons of these, lawnmowers running, two-stroke lawnmowers running on, gasoline, diesel, whatever. And this is in Cambridge, which is supposed to be the most keen into renewables energies. So even here, again, nobody wants to look at it, but everybody feels it. It's like the human race feels it, and humans now, sort of like the Mousetopia, the groomers, I forget what they're called. They're just getting their nice little EVs, and they're living in a delusional land, a land of make-believe, that the future is not, that energy is not collapsing all around them, and that they aren't dying off, but they are. We're dying off, and they want to die off in a nice EV. Thanks for watching.